Hello, it's me, Mr. McCooty, and it's Friday. Yes, it's Friday. I'm not saying there's much I can do on Saturday or Sunday or Monday, but at least in my head, I think it's the end of the week. And I'm sure you're thinking the same thing. But it's not quite the end. We still have some work to do, and I have yet another video. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the worksheet that's been sent through, which is about completing a story. And this is what it looks like. And my printer has printed this a bit wonky, but this is what it looks like. And I'm going to read it first so we know exactly what it says, okay? So it says, your task is to complete this story. The first two paragraphs are given, but you have to complete the story. Read the paragraphs, then start to plan your story. What I really want you to do before you do anything is read the two paragraphs. Remember, read them twice. First, just to get an idea, and the second for understanding. And then, the whole task initially, firstly, is going to be about thinking and planning before we do any completing of the story. We're not going to rush this through. We're going to do this step by step. And this is how real writers do it. They don't just think, I have an idea, right. No, they sit back and they plan. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to be like real writers, okay? So, let's continue. Let me read the first two paragraphs with you. Once upon a time, there lived a carpenter and his wife. More than anything, they wanted a child of their own. At long last, their wish came true. The wife was going to have a baby. From the second floor window of this small apartment, the wife and her husband could see into the garden next door. Such beautiful rows of flowers and plants were there, but no one dared to go over the garden wall to see them up close, for the garden belonged to a witch. That is what your first two paragraphs say. Then we now will begin the planning process. For some people, it's the boring bit before you write a story, but it is the most important part of organizing yourself for your story writing. So we have some sections that we need to go through. Okay, so I'm going to go through it with you. Now, the first section says, what ideas do you have to complete the story? Okay, what ideas do you have to complete this story? You're going to think about how you want your story to be. And that's the thing, you have to think before you continue. What ideas do you have? Do you want to have an idea that the witch is going to be a wonderful person and she turns out to be not as bad as people say? Do you want the witch to be horrible and really mean? Okay? Is there something going to happen to the parents of the child? Is something special going to be about the baby? Or is something unfortunate going to happen in the whole story? These are the things that we need to think about before we really continue with the story. Next, what we do is going to write down some adjectives that will describe your witch. Okay? So then you will know what kind of witch you will have and what kind of story you will write. So, like I said before, will your witch be a happy witch? Will she be an evil witch? Will she be not even a witch, just a regular person that people are calling a witch? So what adjectives can you use for your witch? Remember, adjectives are describing words. So we're going to list, or you're going to list, your adjectives onto your sheet. And I think what we need will be, based on the space there, about 5 adjectives that describe your witch. Next, we have which genre will your story be? And I've written down genre, so when you read it, you know, that's how it sounds, genre. And we talked about genres in class, that books and movies have different styles, different genres, okay? And do you remember which country the word genre comes from? Camille? Felix? Leia? There's your hint. That's where the word comes from, and it just means a type of style, okay? So is your genre going to be funny or comedy? Will it be a scary story? Will it be a fantasy story or a fairy tale? These are the kind of genres that we talk about, and sometimes you can have a mix of the two. So it can be funny, scary, for example. And some of you do like some books like that. So what will happen at the beginning of your story? Okay? At the beginning of your story, where lots of descriptions are going to be, where are the settings? So already we know there's going to be a house, there's going to be a garden, and there's flowers. So already we know that. But do we need to add a bit more information about where the story is going to be? What will happen in the middle of your story? Because we don't just have a beginning and then it ends. Something must happen in the middle, a problem to be solved. And we're going to talk more about that when it comes to our lessons in our new unit for story writing, okay? So you're going to do your best in regards to what we know, okay? You're going to just try your best. So think about what the middle part of your story is going to be. And then what will happen at the end of your story, okay? What is the conclusion? What is the conclusion to your story? And if we think of little short stories that we normally listen to or watch, there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now you can write your story. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't expect your story to be perfect. But what I do expect is that you do complete the plan first and use that to help you write your story. Adjectives are the big key here, because without adjectives and describing words, stories are boring. No one wants to read them because you can't picture in your mind what is happening. Consider your adjectives very, very carefully, especially when you're describing nouns. So you're going to have adjectives that describe the witch, which is fantastic. But we need adjectives, and if you're very, very good, you remember to add some adverbs. Adverbs. Adverbs describe the verb. Walking would be the verb. Walking quickly would mean you have the verb and the adverb. The verb would be walking and the adverb would be quickly. Walking quickly. Verb, adverb. What? What are you waiting for? I'm done. See you in the next video. See you soon.